What's going on, guys? Happy 2025. Hopefully you had a good new year. I absolutely did not. I got horrendously sick with this super cold. I don't know what it was exactly, but I spent the entire New Year's Eve just in and out of NyQuil comas, doing my best to stay afloat. I had headaches, congestion, the chills, could not get warm to save my life, and I was a miserable mess the entire day. And it came out of nowhere, too. I was not expecting to get sick. And almost every year since I started this channel, I do a New Year's Eve stream. I bring in the New Year's with you guys. And I really, really wanted to. And I am so disappointed that I didn't get a chance to. As you can probably tell, I'm still congested, still stuffed up. I'm not as sick as I was yesterday, but still not 100% better yet. But I am very, very disappointed that I didn't get a chance to do a New Year's Eve stream with you guys. So if anybody was looking forward to that, I'm really sorry. Just was not up to it. And I tried all day. I was like hoping I would get better, but it just didn't happen. So again, hopefully you guys had a better New Year's Eve than I did. But now that we are in 2025, I want to give you guys an announcement, a channel update video on what my plan of attack is for this channel and things that I'm going to be working on moving forward, things that I'm going to incorporate more into the channel, some things that I'm going to take away, and just a general idea of where I am planning to head in 2025 for you guys. But just real quick before I get into it, I do want to say thank you guys so much for continuing to support the channel and still being here after all this time. Believe it or not, I actually started this YouTube channel about 10 years ago, and it started off as just a vlog channel. I had other YouTube channels outside of that where I was reviewing movies and stuff, but none of the channels ever really did that well. I got up to maybe like 300, almost 400 subscribers, but I never even hit that 1,000 subscriber barrier. And this channel was just meant to be like a vlog off the cuff channel, but eventually I threw everything on this channel because I didn't like having multiple channels. And about 5 years into it, around 2019, I hit my first 1,000 subscribers. And since then, I've been steadily putting as much time, effort, and energy as I possibly can into YouTube. I was finally able to quit my other full-time job back in May of 2022 to do YouTube full-time. And I've been doing YouTube full-time since then. And it's only thanks to you guys that I've been able to stay afloat. And, there are times where you're doing well, and there's times where I'm down in the dirt and I'm nervous about, my finances for the month. But overall, if you look at the balance, you look at the median of all of it since I started doing this full time, the fact of the matter is I have been able to stay afloat, and I really do thank you guys. And not a day goes by that I'm not grateful. Not a day goes by that I'm not overwhelmed, nervous, and just imposter syndrome out the ass. I'm just like, is this real life? I don't know. It's real life, Ryan. But the point I'm getting at is I just want to give my gratitude to you guys. And regardless of if the content I make now isn't the kind of content you subscribed for, or if you're only here for one thing or another thing, because I do so much variety on the channel, I know I can't please everybody all the time, but the fact that you would still be here and still be watching means a lot to me. So I just want to say thank you guys so much. And I hope that the videos continue to get better. I continue to improve. I give you better entertainment, more quality entertainment, and things continue to go in an upward trajectory, hopefully for all of us in 2025. So shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. And I hope that we all do better this year. But that being said, let me get into what my plans are for the channel for this year. So let's start with this. First and foremost, the horror retrospectives, which are some of my favorite videos to make on the channel and videos that usually tend to do well. The last couple have not done too well on the channel, but overall, more often than not, these videos do well. And these are videos that I have a ton of fun making. Essentially, I take a horror franchise and I do reviews of every single movie in the franchise or TV series if there is one, as well as all the extended media when it comes to video games and comic books. And it's just a way to give you guys an all-encompassing look at the entire franchise from start to finish. Obviously, these videos are not going to be for everybody, and obviously, depending on the series that I choose, people are going to be interested or not interested, but I have had so much fun making these videos, and I never even intended at the start for this to be a series on the channel. I just kind of, I started with Halloween just because I wanted to do that video, and then afterwards I just started tackling all of my favorite horror franchises with Evil Dead and Nightmare on Elm Street, and now I'm branching out even further and tackling ones that I'm not as familiar with, but we are going to get into more horror retrospectives in 2025. The only difference is I think the last 2 years in 2023 and 4, I made 4 horror retrospectives, and it really took so much out of me and was very, very difficult to get done. And so this year, I think I'm going to take just a small step back and do 3 instead of 4. That way I can spend more time on them, get them to be better quality, and also not break myself so much trying to make them, because they take so much time, so much effort, so much energy, and it usually takes like 2.5 to 3 months to do them. So doing 4 in a year pretty much takes up the entire year with very little break in between them. So I'm going to do 3 this year, and I have already chosen the 3 that I'm going to do. Okay. And I'm going to announce them right now so that you don't have to wonder anymore. The first horror retrospective that I'm going to work on this year, that I'm going to begin in about a week and a half, is going to be The Leprechaun. Yes, we are going to be tackling this short Irish menace, which I feel very akin to being a short ginger Irish menace myself. And I figure, why not start the year tackling the Leprechaun series? Then I can finally talk about Leprechaun 4 in Space, one of the greatest movies ever made. I can watch Leprechaun in the Hood and Back to the Hood. And hopefully it'll be a fun, silly one to do, and I can get it out on or around St. Patrick's Day this year. So that will be your spring retrospective, will be The Leprechaun. Then in the summertime, I'm going to be working on the last really huge slasher franchise that I have yet to get to, and that is the Scream franchise. This one was inevitable, and I've covered all the other big ones, so Ghostface is the last on the list. And finally, I always like a horror retrospective to come out in October around Halloween. And what is going to be the Halloween retrospective this year? Well, I think it's about time to give the people what they want. I always said that if my Hellraiser 1 and 2 reviews got up to 10K views a piece, I would do a Hellraiser retrospective, but I keep getting requests for it, and I already know that if I don't do this, I'm just going to keep getting requests for it forever. And anybody that is a fan of my channel already knows that the original Hellraiser is it's in my top 3 favorite horror movies of all time. But I cannot stand the sequels. They are horrendously bad. And so most of this retrospective is going to be me ranting and raving and going probably into a mental psychological breakdown because I have to watch so many bad movies. But I guess at some point you got to give the people what they want. So October 2025, Hellraiser. Now, while we're on the topic of movies, let's talk about a few other things I want to do for the channel in 2025. I do want to do way more new movie reviews. I've noticed that when I reviewed movies like Nosferatu or even Joker 2, those videos did very well. And I think the topical talking about newer stuff coming out, because I think one of the problems on my channel is I'm always talking about older stuff because I really enjoy, older film, older manga, older anime, that kind of stuff from like the 80s and 90s. And it's just not as topical and just doesn't appeal to as wide of an audience. But I still go see new movies. And usually when I review a newer movie, those videos at least do decent. Not all of them do well. Gladiator 2, but I guess probably a lot of people weren't interested in that, which is fair. But they do tend to do well. So I want to make it a point to go see more new movies. Now, I'm not going to be one of those YouTube channels that goes and sees every new movie every week, because I'm not going to waste my time on movies that I know I'm not going to like. So I'm going to try to see, like, the Wolfman remake comes out in January, and movies like that I think will resonate with the channel more and that I want to see. And I also want to review movies that if I don't get a chance to see them in theaters, because my movie theater doesn't tend to get every single movie because I live in bumfuck nowhere. But I am willing to do movie reviews that might be a month or 2 late when I catch the movie on streaming, and I don't have a problem doing that. So more new movie reviews for 2025. And finally, on the topic of movies, I also want to do bigger videos. Now, last year I said one of the things I wanted to do was more scripted videos and less videos of just a dude sitting in a chair ranting at a camera off the cuff, which I still want to do things that way. It's just sometimes time doesn't allow that to happen. But similar to the retrospectives, but they would be much shorter videos, less in-depth, but still a good length. I'm thinking like a half an hour to an hour long. I do want to tackle some weirder outside-the-box things. So there are other movie franchises or TV shows or maybe adaptations of things from anime or manga or even video games. I don't really want to give away my ideas, so I'm going to be a little bit vague here, but there's stuff that I want to tackle in a video that I think would be interesting. But they wouldn't be as long as a retrospective. They would be like a mini version of that would take me maybe a week or two to make as opposed to several months. So I do want to cover different series, different movie series, different TV series, anime series, but in a shorter, more contained scripted format. So that is also something that I plan to have come up in 2025. Now, when it comes to anime and manga, okay, so I love covering these things on the channel. However, in 2025, I actually kind of want to focus more on anime than I do on manga, and there's a couple of reasons why. Number one is I keep putting off finishing reviewing all of Ghost in the Shell, the anime, which that's going to be the first one that I tackle. But then there's other older anime that I really want to get into that I've been putting off for a while just simply because it takes so long to make other kinds of videos that to actually sit and watch an anime just takes a bunch of time. So I'm going to put manga a little bit more on the back burner so that I can focus on reviewing some anime series. Now, after I finish all of Ghost in the Shell, I really always have wanted to do a full review of Neon Genesis Evangelion. And I know that that's been tackled and analyzed to death, and there's so many other videos out there that can probably give you way more of an interesting look at what the series is all about than I can. But I still want to go back and revisit it. And if I'm going to revisit it anyways, I may as well make a video about it. On top of that, there's other anime series that I've wanted to go back to and ones I've wanted to start from the beginning. I want to do a series review on the Tenchi Muyo series, which anybody in my age bracket will probably be stoked about, but anybody else probably won't care. But that is something I've always wanted to go back and watch the original Tenchi Muyo, Tenchi Universe, Tenchi in Tokyo, and the Tenchi series that I've never seen before. So that's something that I've always wanted to do. And this, I'm going to make it a point to do this because I've been wanting to do this for so many years and I have not gotten around to it. I'm going to start getting into the Gundam series from the very beginning. Now, I've seen Mobile Suit Gundam, 8th MS Team, 0083, G Gundam, Gundam Wing. I've seen a handful of Gundam series, but I've never watched it in chronological order from the beginning. And I also have not seen the original Gundam in forever. Like, it's been so long, and I know that Crunchyroll has all of them, and I want to start watching Mobile Suit. Like, I want to start from the very fucking beginning of Gundam, and I want to watch the actual chronological storyline and give you guys reviews as I watch it. So I want to go back and watch Gundam. So yeah, the Ghost in the Shell, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Tenchi, and Gundam, those are like the main anime that I want to try to get through this year, and I want to give more emphasis on anime as opposed to manga this year. But here's my headspace right now. For the last 5 or 6 years, I've reviewed so much manga on this channel that I think I've gotten to a point where I'm just a little bit burned out on it. And I know that might seem, I don't know, kind of stupid, just considering the fact that, I'm always reading manga and books and stories anyway. But just as far as reviewing manga on the channel, it's been a while since I've found one that has really resonated with me the way that my top favorites have. I haven't found anything on the same level for me as, Berserk, Vinland Saga, Gantz, Vagabond, Hunter x Hunter, like these top series that are my absolute favorites. And it seems to be that when I start to read new manga now, I just have a harder time finding that. And that was what was so fun about talking about manga and reading manga on this channel back in 2020, 2021, 2022, when I was going through all these series, because I kept discovering all of these amazing series. But now, when I read something, it seems like I like it, I enjoy it, I think it's good, but it's not hitting me in my soul, the way that others have. And I feel like I'm disappointing people, that I start reading a manga and I think it's okay, I think it's good, but I'm not ranting and raving about it. And I always have to be honest about my opinions. And, for years and years, people were telling me to read One Piece, and I finally started last year, and I don't really have anything particularly bad to say about it. It just wasn't resonating with me the way that I wanted it to. And I don't want to have to read an extra 1,000 chapters about a series that I just feel kind of okay about. I started reading a couple of other series too that I just didn't get back to. And at this point, I don't want to force myself to do it. I don't want to force myself to read through, hundreds of chapters or thousands of chapters if I'm not feeling particularly motivated by it. Because at the end of the day, for me, doing YouTube is meant to be something that I choose what I want to do, right? It's not something that I feel like I have to do, or an obligation, or feel like I'm under pressure by other people telling me that I have to do a particular thing. But I don't want to feel pressured that I have to do something or I have to read something just to, appease, certain people. Like, I really want to feel immersed into the story. I really want to get into it. I really want to be connected to the characters. And you can't do that by forcing yourself. You can't force yourself to read something and then feel connected. It has to flow organically. You have to read it and really get into it. And I'm going to take my time. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not going to be any manga reviews this year. It just means that I'm going to read a new manga when I feel inspired to do so and when it's connecting with me, right? So hopefully that doesn't disappoint people. I know it probably will to some, but at this point, I have so many manga reviews on the channel already that it's just going to be harder to find a series that connects with me, but that doesn't mean that I won't still do it. You know what I mean? And with that, let's talk about new chapter reviews. So with chapter reviews of particular manga, I'm going to be limiting it to 3 series, and that is Berserk, Vinland Saga, and Hunter x Hunter. I will still be doing new chapter reviews for any of those chapters that come out until those series are done, because I love them so much. And I'd say of the ongoing series right now, those are my top 3 favorites: Berserk, Vinland Saga, and Hunter x Hunter. Beyond that, though, I'm not going to be doing other chapter reviews. And a big reason for this is, even though it doesn't seem like it, a chapter review does take up multiple hours of the day to do. And sometimes it's just hard to find things to really get into, to really talk about, because some chapter reviews don't really have a whole lot of new information, and it seems like you're reiterating the same points. But the other 2 major reasons why I don't want to do as many is because, number one, I want to focus on longer, more in-depth, scripted kind of content. And I don't want to be a channel that's just like a dude in a chair talking to the camera, all the time. There will be videos like that, but I don't want that to become like my thing. I don't want that to be what the channel is known for, just like a dude, just weekly chapter reviews kind of thing. I want to make videos that people can come back to and enjoy time and time again. I want to make scripted, more in-depth videos. That's why I love doing the horror retrospectives. That's why I love doing longer, more scripted reviews. That's why I've been putting out more individual movie reviews, throughout the month of December and stuff. I was doing like Christmas horror reviews. I like making videos that are something that you could watch multiple times, because when you make a chapter review for something, it might do okay in the first day or 2, but then that's it. Nobody ever comes back to it. Nobody ever watches it again. Like, it's topical for like 2 or 3 days maybe, and then just disappears. And if I was getting crazy views on every single video, that might make it worth it in the long run, but I really don't. And truthfully, it just doesn't maintain the channel enough to try to keep it going. To take time out of working on the longer, more in-depth videos to do a chapter review. Like, the video itself might be 10 minutes long, but that might have taken, 30 minutes to record, and then, 2 hours to edit. And it takes up multiple hours of the day that you don't even realize. And then it's like you're shifting your focus from one topic into another topic, and then trying to shift your focus back into the previous topic. After you put the video out there, and then you put the video out there, and then 2 days later, nobody cares anymore because the chapter is no longer relevant. So I just don't want to be like an individual chapter reviewer on YouTube. That's just not really what I want to do. For my favorite series, I will do it. Berserk, Vinland Saga, Hunter x Hunter, I will continue. But in general, that's not really what I want to do with the channel. And so I'm backing off of chapter reviews minus those 3 series. The same thing with episode reviews. I wasn't going to do Rurouni Kenshin this year, but you guys convinced me into it. The people that have been watching and sending in the super thanks every episode. So that will probably be the only series I do episode reviews of. And I guess since I started from the beginning, I may as well finish the whole thing, but that'll be the only one for that. So as far as individual chapter and individual episode reviews, That's it. Just going to be those series. Now, still on the topic of manga, let's talk about Berserk. Berserk is my favorite manga series of all time, but beyond that, it is my favorite series just in general. And I'm always going to be a Berserk fan. I'm always going to be talking about Berserk. But I do feel like a large amount of the people that did subscribe to this channel only subscribed for Berserk content. And while I was going through the series and while I was making monster manuals, that worked out just fine, but I feel like I've disappointed a lot of people since. I think I've only made about 5 Berserk videos in 2024, but that was also deliberate because as much as I love the series and I'm always going to talk about it, this is not a Berserk only channel, you know, and it never has been. It never has been. It just happened to be one of the things that did the best in the algorithm for me, and one of the things that got me, you know, the most influx of subscribers, of which I'm always going to be grateful for, and I'm always going to love that series, and I'm always going to talk about it. But I think that the problem has become, I've talked about it. You know, I've said everything I've thought about the series. I don't really have anything new to say that hasn't already been said. Like, I've covered the entire series from start to finish. I did the monster manuals, and I've made a bunch of, you know, separate theory videos and stuff, and nothing's really changed. I mean, when you only get 3 or 4 chapters a year, you don't really come up with new theories unless something gigantic happens in the story, you know? So all of my theories and ideas and all that, it's all the same. So I don't want to just beat a dead horse and talk about the same things over and over and over and over again just to try to get views, or just to try to, you know, I don't know, like, there's so many other things that I want to talk about. So I haven't turned my back on the series or anything like that. It's just a matter of, you know, there's so many other types of videos that I want to make. I don't want to get drilled into a hole where I can only talk about one topic, because that's never what my intention was. And a lot of you guys have been super supportive about that, but I do have some people that get angry and upset that, you know, I'm not talking about Berserk as much. But the truth of the matter is, I just don't know what else to say. I just feel like I've talked about every single aspect from every single angle, and I don't know what else to say about it. But there is also something to mention with that. So when I started going through Berserk for the first time, I made a series called the Berserk Manga Analysis, which the beginning portions of those videos I absolutely can't stand. They have no presentation value. It was literally just photos of the manga with me talking over it with the worst possible microphone. And I had not even finished the series at that point, so there's so much misinformation in those videos. There's so many things that are wrong. There's so many things that I regret saying and regret doing in them. And with the presentation being so horrible, I think they're a horrible representation of my channel and a horrible representation of the Berserk manga in itself, at least up until maybe the Conviction arc. Then I started to kind of hit my stride. But before that, I hate all those videos, and I think that they suck. But I made a compromise a while back where I made them members only. So if you just, you know, had $1 a month, you could still watch them. But I have since removed that, and they are now available for everybody to watch once again. I hate those videos. Also, I had to remove all the intros because they all got copyright claimed. So they were all demonetized and hidden from the algorithm anyways, but I've gotten rid of the music that was in them. So they are monetized. Well, most of them are monetized again. Not all. It didn't work for all of them, but I'd say like 60% of them are monetized again, and they are now available for everybody to watch. They are public again. So if you go to my playlist and you go to Berserk Manga Analysis, it's all there. But I hate those videos. I can't stand them. And I don't want to hear my voice. I don't want to hear what I said. I don't want to, I want to put my head in the sand and just imagine that, at least from like the first video up until like the Conviction arc, just imagine that I never made them. But I do get people asking all the time where they went, or, you know, if the videos are going to be back. And I figured, you know what, I'll give the people what they want once again. They're already made. I got most of them monetized again. So, all right, they're available again. So if you guys do want to watch them, they are available. So the Berserk Manga Analysis is back. And I have also added the new chapter recaps to that playlist. So after the playlist is actually over, you'll get the recaps of the new chapter since Koji Mori and team took over. So that is all on there now if you want to watch it. I was also not expecting this video to be this long. I apologize. I only have a little bit more to go through. So still coming up for 2025. I also want to expand and do different kinds of content and reviews, and this might include video games. So subtly on the side, I've been replaying through all of the Devil May Cry series, and I'm thinking about doing a review for each game, or at least doing a game ranking of my favorite Devil May Crys. And also I started to play the Resident Evil 4 remake, of which I've streamed a lot from, but I have played more beyond the streams. I'm sorry, I just didn't feel up to it for streaming, but I've gotten about a little bit more than halfway through the game, so I might do reviews of the Resident Evil series as well as I play through them. I haven't done a lot of video game reviews. I've done like 2 or 3, but I actually think that it is something that I do enjoy doing. But you have to understand also it's coming from the perspective of a casual gamer as opposed to somebody that plays all the time. But I love those series, you know, series like that, like Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, God of War, that kind of stuff I love so much. So I would love to start doing some reviews for those, or at least some rankings, or, you know, just talking about the series a little bit more in different videos, and reviewing books as well. So last year I tried to make my way through the Dune series by Frank Herbert. I read 5 of the 6 books. I was trying, I didn't get through all 6, but after I finished Chapter House Dune, I do want to review some more books on the channel because that's something new and interesting that I haven't really been doing before. So I don't really have an amount of books that I want to get to in 2025, but that is something that I also want to try to do more. I know that I promised my audience after I finished the Dune books that I would read and review Blood Meridian, because a lot of people are asking for that. And I also want to read and review the original Jurassic Park novel, because it's very different from the movie, and I have read it before a long time ago, but I want to kind of get back into it, and maybe even reread the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, which was my favorite story before I read Berserk. So, you know, it's been a long time since I've read that too. So I want to do more book reviews on the channel for 2025 also. All right, and just a final couple of things here. So I would like some requests for videos to do for top 10 lists as well as tier list videos, because as I'm working on the longer, more in-depth projects, it is nice to have some videos I can kind of put out in the meantime, at least to keep the views up a little bit, because I don't have the luxury of taking like a month off of making a video to work on something bigger, because my views will tank and then I will be broke. So I need to put out some videos to keep things going. So I think some of the easiest and most fun videos to do for that are top 10 lists and tier list videos. So if you guys have suggestions of what you would like to see for that, please put them in the comments below. I would love to hear them. I might be able to put out one every 2 weeks or something like that to do either a top 10, you know, whatever list, or a tier list ranking video. I want to get back into doing the director tier list videos, because those were a lot of fun, but also I have to kind of go back and watch movies from particular directors that I haven't seen all of their work from, but those were a lot of fun. But any kind of ideas like that, any ideas that you have for tier list videos, you know, as wacky and as ridiculous, the more wacky and the more ridiculous, the better, as far as I'm concerned, as well as top 10 videos. Let me know what your suggestions for that are, and I can run through those throughout the entire course of the year. And finally, for Patreon and channel members, I want to give back to you guys more. I just need to know what you guys want. So my idea right now is to do monthly movie commentaries. I think would be a lot of fun, or maybe even monthly movie watch parties. I don't exactly know how to accomplish this. I guess I would have to do it through like a Discord server or something, because even though Patreon is like its own thing, you still can't stream copyrighted content on there. So if there's any way we could do like a movie watch party some way, I would be up for that for Patreon and channel members. If not, I want to do monthly movie commentaries, and also just let me know ideas, like things that maybe other people have done with their Patreons, or just something that you would like to see, maybe more behind the scenes videos. You know, I am getting a new camera, which I have not gotten a new camera in like 10 years. I've been using the same old shitty camera from 2014 this entire time. Not the webcam, but any video, like the timeline board segments and anything that's not recorded in front of my computer. I've been using like a 10-year-old camera this whole time, because I just haven't, you know, whatever. But anyways, so I ordered a new one. So I'd like to do more off-the-cuff videos like that. I'd like to do more scripted sort of skit videos, funny, humorous videos, little filmmaking test kind of videos, maybe like little scripted videos that are like 5 to 10 minutes long, just little stories about stupid things that are happening. You know, I'd like to do stuff like that just to kind of get back into the groove of filmmaking. And with that being said, the final thing I'm going to say for this video is one of my goals outside of YouTube that I want to do for this year is I want to finish writing my movie script. So anybody that doesn't know, you know, I've had this pipe dream my entire life of making films. I made movies when I was younger with my friends through high school in my early 20s and everything, but I want to make a real legitimate movie someday. I was hoping that if I ever get up to a certain amount of subscribers, you know, I would start maybe a Kickstarter account or something to try to gain funding for that. But I need to have a foundation first. So I need to have the script finished. My goal for 2024 was to start writing the script, which I did. But unfortunately, because YouTube takes up so much of my time, I just haven't had a chance to really get into writing it. And so this is another reason why the Patreon and channel memberships would be very useful, very helpful for me, is to kind of just help, you know, keep me afloat while I'm doing that, while I'm working on that. Because obviously there's no revenue being drawn from just writing a script, right? So, and I think the most difficult thing about it is that with YouTube, I'm already writing scripts and I'm already doing all of that kind of stuff. So it's hard to kind of shift your focus. Like if you're writing all day for YouTube, when I'm done writing for YouTube, the last thing I want to do is to go in and start writing, you know, for a script. It's like, it's hard to be able to do both. And I know that I'm just probably complaining, but I'm going to get it done. That's my goal for 2025 is to write the script. But again, that's going to take up time. And that is also another one of the reasons why I think I'm only going to do 3 retrospectives this year as opposed to 4, because just the writing and the focus that I need to have to write a script just takes away from that. So I need to be able to focus and get it done. And the best way that you guys could help with that is just to sign up to the Patreon or become a channel member, just to kind of keep me afloat as I'm doing that. It would be super, super useful, super, super grateful for it. And yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. If I can get it done and I can figure out something, then maybe someday, hopefully that will happen. That is my long-term goal for my life. Is to make a movie. It would be great to have like a career in making movies, but if I can just make one, if I can get one movie done and say that I wrote it, I directed it, I made a movie, I'll at least be satisfied with that. But that's long-term goals. But at the same time, I mean, I'm in my mid-30s. Like, I got to make this shit happen at some point. So I'm going to at least get the script done this year. And I think that will about do it. I'm sorry this video was so long. I didn't expect it to be. But that's what I have planned for this year. Now, that doesn't mean that more things might not come up. You know, I might get inspired to do this or that, or create a whole different type of video series that I haven't even thought about yet. But these are just my thoughts as of right now. And as of right now, I've scheduled out pretty much my whole year up until like mid to late March. Like I already am planning on working on all this stuff. The Leprechaun retrospective is going to go into effect starting about 2 weeks from now, not even. And hopefully I'll get that out by St. Patrick's Day for you guys, as well as, yeah, give me ideas for top 10s, give me ideas for tier lists, video game stuff, more anime stuff. And also chapter reviews will continue for Berserk, Vinland Saga, and Hunter x Hunter. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Again, thank you for all of your support. Thank you for being here for this long haul. I know everything kind of shifts and changes over time. The channel is never, you know, 100% just the same, but hopefully you guys are supportive of the changes. And if you're not, that's okay too. If you need to unsubscribe, if my channel is not for you anymore, I'm happy for the time that we spent together while we did, man. Like, and honestly, truly, I am. Like, I understand, you know, I've unsubscribed from YouTube channels that don't do the same kind of content I signed up for. So I'm not offended by it. It's okay. But thank you guys so much. And I'll continue to do the best I can and make the best videos I can. I'm going to work on that script and get that shit done. And thank you guys for being so supportive, man. I appreciate you. Once again, sorry I couldn't do a New Year's Eve stream. I was just too sick. But other than that, I'm going to end this video now because it's too long. Thanks for watching, guys. I love you. We'll see you later.